All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The ruling alliances have registered what can only be described as landslide victories in the Indian states of Maharashtra and Jharkhand. With most of the seats having been declared, the counting of votes is still continuing in some by-polls for the 2 parliamentary and the 48 assembly constituencies. In Maharashtra, the ruling Mahayuti is poised to win a two-thirds majority in the 288-seat assembly. The state had voted in a single phase on the 20th of November. The Mahayuti alliance is led by the Bharatiya Janata Party and includes the Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena and Ajit Pawar-led NCP, who are pitted against the opposition alliance of Mahavikas Aghadi, that has the Congress, the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena and the Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP. And these are live images that are coming through of the Indian Prime Minister in the aftermath of the victory that the BJP alliance has managed to win in Maharashtra. Now, the Indian Prime Minister has expressed his gratitude to the people of Maharashtra for their mandate and has assured them of continued development in the state. Now, the Mahayuti leaders have also thanked the voters, with Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis thanking the Prime Minister for his support in securing victory in the state.
लाडकी बहीण असेल, लाडका भाऊ असेल, लाडका शेतकरी असेल, एकंदरीत सगळ्याच घटकातल्या लोकांनी यावेळेस महायुतीवर प्रेम दाखवलं आणि त्यामुळे मी सगळ्या मतदारांना मनापासून धन्यवाद देतो आणि त्यांना एवढ्या मोठ्या ऐतिहासिक विजयासाठी शासनाने दंडवत घातला पाहिजे अशा प्रकारचं काम मतदारांनी केलेलं आहे.
महाराष्ट्र की जनता ने जो अप्रत्याशित इस प्रकार की जीत हमको दी है, इससे ये बात पूरी तरीके से स्थापित होती है कि महाराष्ट्र ये प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के पीछे है और मोदी जी ने जो नारा दिया था, एक है तो सेफ है, इस नारे को यथार्थ में लाते हुए महाराष्ट्र के सभी समाज के सभी लोगों ने एकता दिखाते हुए महाराष्ट्र में मतदान किया है और इसके कारण ये इतनी अच्छी जीत हमको मिली है.
All right, so that was Devendra Fadnavis there, reiterating that "Ek hai to safe hai" slogan that was, of course, given by the Prime Minister, which he said has resulted in this very thumping victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party-led alliance. Now, the results, of course, are of celebrations across the state of Maharashtra by the Mahayuti supporters. The Mahayuti victory comes in an election that was marked by the biggest voter turnout in the state in nearly 3 decades. Now, in the case of Jharkhand, the JMM-led ruling coalition bloc of the JM, the Congress and the RJD is also on course for a clear two-thirds majority. Jharkhand had voted in 2 phases on the 13th of November and the 20th of November in its 81-seat assembly. Now, the Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren has thanked the voters for the mandate and has hailed the performance of the India bloc.
इस राज्य के आधी आबादी को, नौजवानों को, महिलाओं को, पुरुषों को, किसानों को, मजदूरों को, सभी जाति धर्म के लोगों ने जो मतों का उपयोग किया है, इसके लिए मैं उनको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और आभार प्रकट करता हूं.
Now, the Indian Prime Minister also congratulated the Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren for the victory. He's also thanked the people and has assured them of the centre's continued assistance in the state's development. Meanwhile, in the by-polls to the 2 parliamentary constituencies, Maharashtra's Nanded and Kerala's Wayanad, Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has won the Wayanad seat by over 4 lakh votes. Making her electoral debut, Priyanka's winning margin was bigger than her brother Rahul Gandhi's, who vacated the seat that he had won earlier this year. In Nanded, the BJP's Dr. Santuk Rao Marotrao Hambarde, of course, is leading. All right, now to help us make sense of this electoral verdict that, of course, has come through. We're joined by Mr. Sandeep Ghosh, who's an author and a political commentator, and he's joining us live on this broadcast. Mr. Ghosh, what is your reading on the verdict that is, of course, being delivered, where Maharashtra has gone to the BJP-led alliance and the JMM has gone the way of the India alliance? Is it even Stevens in this case, or how do you view this verdict?
No, the two propositions are entirely different between Maharashtra and Jharkhand. And I would rather start with Jharkhand because Jharkhand results can probably get overshadowed. Maharashtra may overshadow the Jharkhand results, so they merit a little greater analysis. First of all, Jharkhand, one must give credit to the tribal leader, Hemant Soren's victory. And it's clearly his victory more than that of an India alliance.
Right.
And what the lesson there for BJP is, for whatever they tried, there is no substitute for local leadership. BJP had, systematically decimated many of its state leaders since in their entire high of 2014 after Narendra Modi came to power, and they really didn't rebuild some of those state leaderships in many places. And Jharkhand is a classic case in point. And so despite doing well, despite a lot of mobilization at the tribal level, BJP could not convert Jharkhand.
Right.
Whereas if you see BJP's success stories in the other states, not just Maharashtra, if you go back, whether it's been UP, Madhya Pradesh, everywhere, wherever BJP has had a strong local leadership, they have. It has been much easier for them to come around. And that's what's happened in Maharashtra. But before you ask me again on Maharashtra, I would reiterate, I think Jharkhand is has been a localized election. And in that, the local tribal phase, the local leadership, they have scored over BJP,
right,
and it has to be seen as such.
All right, interesting. Now, just to talk about Maharashtra, the question that a lot of people would be wondering about is, because there was a lot of confusion about who is the real Shiv Sena and who is the real NCP. Do you think that debate has now been put to rest through this verdict?
I think that debate, to put it that way, would be a little simplistic. Whether that has been put to rest or not, but I think what's been done, you see, people mistook the Lok Sabha election verdict to be a mandate against BJP or in favor of the MVA, Mahavika. But it was BJP's performance in the Lok Sabha was a function of many of its own mistakes. And they realized where all they made the mistake. There was a degree of overconfidence. They tried to, their whole politics of washing machine politics, etc. What people talk about, acquisition style, getting everybody into the thing and alienating their own cadres. And all of that was contributed to their poor performance. So BJP got its act together very quickly.
Right.
It set its house in order and, corrected all those mistakes. Whereas I think the MVA, which kind of benefited essentially of the negative voting against BJP, rested on its laurels without really working out a concrete alternative vision or a strategy for the Maharashtrian people, which the people saw through. And that's how, it's very easy for BJP to salvage.
Right.
Now, coming to your question about which is the real Shiv Sena or the real NCP. Okay, it's not a question of the real Shiv Sena. What did the Shiv Sena stand for?
All right.
Now, in the Lok Sabha elections, they blamed Eknath Shinde to be a usurper of Balasaheb's, legacy. But what Uddhav Thackeray did was to actually abdicate that legacy by going and, forsaking Balasaheb's Hindutva plank and platform and, swinging the other way, going away from the core values of, or whatever, quote unquote, whatever the core proposition of the Shiv Sena. So thereby he has legitimized Eknath Shinde, who said, see, it's not a question of the title or the surname. It's one who stands for those, what Balasaheb stood for. And I am standing steadfast on that. And thereby he has claimed that legacy.
All right.
The same situation in the NCP.
All
Yeah.
right. Very
So-
interesting. Now, my
Go ahead.
final question to you, because we're short of time, is there's a lot of speculation on who will be the next chief minister in Maharashtra. Will the BJP persist with Eknath Shinde, or are we looking at a change of the person who will be sitting in the chief minister's chair in Maharashtra?
I think these are, I wouldn't consider that to be a very, very relevant, question as of now. Is a question of how they get the government together and how they deliver governance subsequently.
Right.
Because the arrangement which was there, right now everybody knew who was calling the shots. I think Eknath Shinde and Fadnavis came to a very good understanding with each other, and I don't think there is any real issue
All right.
between who they need to put, and I don't think BJP is going to very easily disturb those equations just on the high of getting these election such pumping majority in this election, which is ahead of maybe even their own expectations.
All right. Very interesting. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Ghosh, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure being with you. Bye.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.